Boom. We are back with episode 104 of the Quarantinecast. I'm really excited for this one. I'm having another Gym-O product coming on here. It's Welterweight, Bryan Barberena. He competes in the UFC. He had a very successful return to the octagon about a month ago, I think, September 12th, where he won via comfortable decision, returning from a long layoff due to some back problems. And without further ado, I'd like to have him on. I've been a fan for a long time, so I'm really excited for this one. Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great, man. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to talking with you.
So first things first, man, how are you doing? I mean, everything going on in the world with COVID and the election, it seems like the world's going crazy. So how are you doing? How are you holding up?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Trying to be as safe as possible, especially COVID safe, especially just to make sure I can make it a fight. Just in case I get a short notice call or anything, I want to make sure that, I'm not going to be testing positive and then get pulled out of the fight after, putting in all this time and everything trying to get a fight. So staying real safe, family's good, staying busy on the farm, and I'm good. Can't complain.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme right now. Guys pulling out and last-minute replacements. And as someone who's, after your last fight, said you wanted to stay busy, it's probably good that you're out there staying safe and everything.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay active. I haven't been able to get a fight as fast as I would have liked. So just kind of staying ready, and just in case I get a call, I can go ahead and step in.
I want to talk about your last performance. It looked very, very, very dominant, very, very impressive. So how did it feel getting back in there after such a long layoff? I know there were some injuries and stuff like that. So how did it feel to get back in there and get your hand raised?
It felt amazing, man. I put in I've gone through a lot with the surgery and the layoff and working back to getting back there. A lot of support from my family, from my team. Did a lot of work with, on the outside and that people don't see and everything. So, man, it was amazing. I felt the feeling was unmatchable. Like, just to get my hand raised and be back in the win column too was great. It was a great fight. And, I honestly, I would have liked to go in there and get the finish, but I think a 3-round fight was to show that, I'm back and healed up and feeling good. It was the perfect showing for me to come back to.
Did you feel any added pressure? I mean, you were on a 2-fight losing streak, such a long layoff. I'm sure there was thoughts of, if I lose 3 in a row, that doesn't look good in the eyes of the UFC, especially in a division like the welterweight division where there's like 150 fighters. Did you feel that extra pressure?
I didn't feel any extra pressure at all. I felt like my last fights, I'm always exciting. I always put on good fights. At least I feel like I do. Fans like to watch. And so I felt with my last 2, I fought some of the division's toughest. Definitely Luque being right up there, one of the top in the division. Randy Brown coming up to one of the, top guys. So, I wasn't really worried about it. I mean, obviously your job is never safe. So there's that, but I just felt like I didn't really have anything to worry about. All I needed to worry about was just getting in there and beating Ivy and not letting them beat me. So,
how did your back feel both in the lead up to the fight as well as during the fight?
After surgery, it was slow and steady, and I had to wait quite a while to begin even physical therapy and begin, training after that. So there was, some bumps and some, slow times that, in the beginning, but once I got back into training and was going, my back felt better than ever. And, once we took a little bit of time to kind of test the waters a little bit and step in slow. But once it was like feeling good, it was just like, all right, open the floodgates, let's get going, and doing things in training that I haven't been able to do in a long time. And so it really felt good. And then going into the fight, man, I had no issues. My back felt better than ever. I didn't even, in my mind, it was like there was no worry at all. I never even thought about my back. It was just go in there and let's fight. And, I had been itching to fight again, and the feeling to get in there and just going. I don't believe in ring rust. I test myself in the gym every single day. I go against killers in there who push me and, try to break me. So I don't believe in that. I'm ready to go as soon as I step in there. So it all went great.
You talked about the killers that you're in there with every day. I spoke with one of those killers just the other day, an Impa Kasanganai. what does it mean to have guys like Impa and Joe Selecki, Scott Holtzman, those guys around you day in and day out, and how much of a role did they play in not just your physical recovery, but also mental recovery when you were dealing with your back injury?
It was huge. Those guys are all great, and they're, definitely strong in different areas and well-rounded, and, can push me every day. You mentioned Scott, Impa, Selecki, John Salter's another one that I work with. He comes out and travels from Wilmington and to help me out too. And he's a Bellator, right up there for a title contention. So, I work with some great people who push me every day. And, during recovery and everything and on my way back, I have Impa texting me, Scott texting me, and, making sure, checking in on me. My coaches texting me, my friends from out here who work with what I work with and stuff. They're just, it was the support around my team and everything was, definitely helped as far as my comeback and working with me and making sure that, I'm keeping my mind in check and keeping everything and doing the things I'm supposed to be doing. They're best definitely keeping me in check. And then, Scott Holtzman was a huge thing. We both live in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, when I started working out and everything, I started working out with him and doing the workouts with him, and he was making sure that, I wasn't pushing too much to strain myself and really pulling me back and, making sure I'm going slow enough to ease into it and not hurt myself again. Whoa, sorry.
Speaking on Impa, I mean, obviously his last performance didn't go his way. As a friend and as a teammate, what sorts of advice do you give someone after they suffer defeat like that? Like, it wasn't just a loss; it was also, in the public eye. Must be a little bit humiliating to know it's on like Sports Center and all this stuff. But as a friend, what advice do you give to someone like that?
Stay positive. That's the biggest thing. He's a great athlete. He's a great fighter. He's going to do great things. This one fight isn't gonna say who he is and put it in stone. He's going to do great things and move on from this. And, we just get back on it. It was a freak thing. That was a crazy kick. He agrees too. So, but do we agree that he's better and everything? He can keep pushing forward. He's going to do great things. Absolutely. So just stay positive, keep your nose on the grindstone and keep moving forward. This is just the beginning, little bump in the road. We know how to bounce back from those.
What was the whole experience like going there with him and experiencing that whole thing?
I could see if you were being there for quite a long time or whatever, it might get boring or something like that. Like, just because it's, there's not a ton to do, but there's enough to do for fight week and stuff. And, obviously you're getting the greatest opportunity to be able to fight during a time like this. Dana White really did, outdid himself and was able to shut the island down, and no one has access to you or anything like that. So man, it's really just a blessing, and it's an awesome experience. I can't even imagine how much cooler it would be with fans being able to be there and everything. That place would be hopping. But right now it's awesome during the circumstances and everything. It's really cool.
As someone, I think you've competed in Brazil once, in Canada once, but as someone who's primarily competed in North America, what would the experience like to be to travel there for a fight?
To Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a long flight. I definitely recommend, like, for me, I was going to pick up a short notice fight, and I was just going to, stay there.
Yeah.
So it was like, I was going to stay there and, do my fight there, because to travel, it's 15 hours, 15-hour flight. 15-hour flight there, to do a 15-hour flight back, and you have to quarantine again in Vegas and everything. Like, it'd be a lot. So, but to be honest, that was the nicest flight I've ever been on. I got a whole row to myself. As the fighter, you get to sit in first class. Get to lay down. The food on the flight was amazing. It's the best airline food I've ever had. So, I mean, to be honest, you're flying in luxury, but to do a 15-hour flight there and a 15-hour flight back, and then fly back if you got a call, would suck.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask about another potential fight. I mean, I know it's somewhere down the road. It's not realistic right now, but with Hispanic Heritage Month, what would it mean to you to potentially compete in a Colombia or even if it's not Colombia, like a Uruguay or an Argentina?
That would be huge. A while back, after my Warley Alves fight, I went on a tour, like a media tour for the UFC, and went to Mexico and went to Colombia just to talk to the media out there and kind of promote, the UFC and MMA in general. Because out in Colombia at the time, it wasn't, really accepted very much. So, but I would love to fight on a Colombia card. I would love to headline a Colombia card. I would love to just, be the headline for a Colombian card, a card in Colombia, and be able to really show out for my fans and for my family out there so they can come to the show. It would be huge. And even if it's close to Colombia, I know my family in Colombia would travel to a close, place in South America. Any country in South America would be amazing, and I'd love to be a part of it.
I want to take a trip. Down memory lane here. I spoke to Eric Anders and a couple other guys who played football growing up. What is the biggest lesson that you took from your footballing days that you can still apply to MMA, both mentally and physically?
Mentally, I think is, the grind and the push, the mindset of just, keep pushing through everything. There was times where, I got hurt, not, terribly bad where I broke anything or whatever, but I was injured in football and just kept pushing forward, kept going and making it through the game. That, it's not, at least that's my mindset. That's the mindset I got from football, was just to keep pushing and get through it. And let's get the game, let's get through the game and win the game and do all you can to help your team and everything. Physically, it's constantly trying to improve, trying to get better. I didn't play football when I was young. I started when I was in high school. So I felt as if maybe I'd have to catch up to some of the people who were playing all their lives. And, I did all I could in my before that to prepare myself, but it was just, I didn't get to work with a team or do any of that. So it was really a focus on, just on MMA is, you got to work the skills, you got to work everything, every aspect of it, and be consistent on it. And that was the most important thing, was just being consistent. And I think that transferred over. The biggest thing from football into MMA was, being consistent and in my training.
Speaking of consistency, riding that wave of that last fight, you mentioned wanting to fight frequently, and how soon are you ready to get back in there?
Right away. I would have fought, the week after. I didn't care. I was trying to fight. While I was in Fight Island. They had an opportunity to take a fight. I said yes multiple times to the fight, and it didn't pan out. And then I got offered another fight and said yes to that. And that didn't work out. The guy ended up testing positive for COVID, and so scrapped the whole fight. And the other fight got handed off to someone else somehow. I don't know, but it didn't work out. So I'm ready. I'm ready to step in at 185. 70 is definitely a little tougher, but I can do it. But I'm even thinking moving up to 185. Honestly, it seems like a lot of 85ers are getting fights. There's a lot of 85 fights happening. There's a lot of 85ers dropping out. So, if I'm not the first call to step in at 85 because I'm not an 85er, well, shoot, I'll move up to 85, and then I could be that first call. So I've competed at 85 before. I'm not worried about going in there competing. I know I can go in there and fight against the best. So
I've kind of built this platform on making matchups. So after every event, I'd say this person should fight that person, and so on and so forth. That being said, whether it's realistic or not, whether it's someone you like, someone you dislike, or someone you just admire, before it's all said and done, is there someone that you'd say, you know what, I want to test my skills against that person before they retire, before I retire?
Absolutely. There's actually they're fighting each other, and I would have liked to fight. I like to fight either one or both of them. I'd like to fight both of them, honestly. Robbie Lawler and Mike Perry. Like, those are fights I want. And Robbie Lawler is older, been doing it for a longer time. There's hopefully he doesn't retire anytime soon, but I would have liked to fight him before he retires, and he's a scrapper. He throws down. That's my kind of guy. And same with Mike Perry, he brings it. So those are the kind of fights I want, exciting fights like that. I'd love to fight either one of those guys.
And last question, I can't go this interview without asking. I mean, it's tomorrow night, or I guess tomorrow daytime. Khabib versus Justin Gaethje. I mean, everybody's talking about it. I've been hyped. I've been like looking forward to this fight for months now, and it's like 24 hours away, and I still can't believe it's going down. What's your take on the fight? Who do you think's winning it?
I like both guys, both stand up guys, class acts. Both beasts. But honestly, I'm leaning towards Gaethje with the upset. Or I don't even know who's the favorite, but I'm saying Gaethje's going to upset him.
What do you think how do you think he's going to win?
I think he's going to win by how he always wins. KO, TKO. I mean, Khabib's he's great, and he's great at doing what he does and mixing up his hands too. But I just think Gaethje can stuff some takedowns in the beginning and make him stand. It's going to be more in his favor, and I think he's going to catch him.
All right, and lastly, for anyone watching this, how can they follow you? And is there anybody you'd like to thank or plug?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Bryan_Barberena, and then I have a fan page on Facebook. You can find me at Bryan Barberena there. Also, plugging or whatever, saying thank you. My wife, my kids, of course, the most important thing to me. They're always there supporting me, loving on me. I wouldn't be able to do it without my wife. So, huge love to them. My Jeff Jimmo, always being there for me, going above and beyond in my camps, in my training. Really doing everything I need to be a better fighter. My teammates, of course, my sponsors, Sweet James, Gold Club Canine Groups, Vital Proteins, Diamond MMA, Zip Fizz, and come on. Traeger Grills, gotta have a Traeger, and just everybody out there, all the fans, everybody who supports me and just likes to watch me fight and enjoys it, and all the farmers out there, shout out to you guys.
I've been a fan for a long time, man. So I really appreciate you coming on. I almost have like the entire Jimmo team. I think all I have left is Scott. I think I've interviewed everybody else. So awesome. I appreciate it, man. I've been a fan for a long time. Hopefully we get to see you out there soon. But until then, stay safe, man, and take care of that back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate your support. Honored to be on here and talking with you, man. Thank you for having me on. And, man, I hope to be back in there soon and put on a show for everybody.
All right, man. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
All right, there you have it. I mean, we had some technical difficulties there in the middle, but I think, overall, you got the message. I mean, I've been a fan of Bryan Barberena for a very, very long time. I'm a huge fan of his, huge fan of Jimmo. You're seeing a lot of success coming out of that camp, even though they're a tight-knit community. They don't have as many fighters as like an ATT or an AKA, but you're seeing a lot of success out of that camp, especially now in 2020. Looking forward to what's next for him. And man, thank you guys all for tuning in. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We have a big one coming tomorrow night, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Until then, I'll see you guys later.